Awesome. So Kyle, when you think digital payments, what are you thinking of as the main benefits to the Caribbean in general, not just Jamaica?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, the challenges that we've had in the past with cash is that number one, there's a security weakness for carrying too much of it, and number two, oftentimes there's an accessibility issue between the person with the cash and the person who needs to get the cash for whether for as John Matthew said, a peer-to-peer payment or to finance the exchange of a good or a service. And that was very much highlighted during COVID when people could not do face-to-face business in the same way that they used to. And so actually digital payments skyrocketed around the world in response to that inability to do face-to-face. So there's also the other aspect of the speed of a digital payment. In some cases, even a remittance itself, although the cash may move instantly, a remittance itself can take days for you to
Right.
actually go from where you may be to a remittance outlet to go and pick it up. And again, maybe that wasn't possible. Lines outside of financial institutions made it difficult to get cash. And then finally, there's also the ability to access credit as a digital payment. You may not have the cash, and a credit card that offers you digital credit is one way for you to make payments digitally without actually having the value in your bank account, so to speak.
Okay. All about making everything easy.
Right.
Come on.
So
Keep bringing those jokes. We love those jokes.
okay. So Narda, then what would you say are the pain points for customers that these digital payment solutions are able to not just solve but improve the client experience?
Well, if we start with the pain points, Adrian, Cal touched some of them, that inability to serve your customers because you cannot reach them face to face. Pre-COVID, not even during COVID, pre-COVID, a number of businesses found it necessary now to go digital, whether through a wallet or through e-commerce, because they needed to expand their range of scope. No longer can you serve just who is in front of you. Price of gas keeps going up every day. So you need to widen your market space so you can reach more people. So if you're thinking to reach more people, it's not always feasible to set up a brick and mortar here, there, and everywhere. So you have to be able to reach your customers digitally through a wallet, through e-commerce, either way. So for regular customers, regular businesses, MSME, straight up to the established businesses, you saw where there was a trend where everybody needed to go e-commerce. The banks were going there as well. They needed to be able to move money in and out. Everybody, car dealers, supermarkets, pharmacies, anybody that needed to reach a wider scope of customers, they were pushing for digital payments. Where the customer experience is concerned, or the customer is always going to be concerned about security. When there's a certain security that comes with a face-to-face transaction, that's just, culturally, we love that feel. I love to give you cash and put it in your hand and get a receipt. Right? So no, the challenge for us as digital or payment facilitators is how do we replicate that feeling for the customer? You can't see the transaction. It's happening somewhere in la la land in the cloud, like Kyle likes to say. And you can't feel it. It's not a tangible transaction. So we have to make sure that we are secure. We are meeting all the security requirements, and then we're giving that customer the feeling of a face-to-face transaction. So immediate notifications that your transaction is successful, getting it on whatever device you are using. And of course, an email backing it up so you have proof of purchase. This is your receipt, which in many, many cases have become more reliable than your paper receipts. Point of sale, paper terminals, those terminal paper that give it 2 weeks, you start to about 3 months, you have nothing, right? Emails don't go away. And if you even where you're talking about the customer experience, you're gonna find that customers are now wanting this experience. They're moving. You find that, John Matthew, they're moving from the face-to-face. They don't need that. So even customers who are used to doing face-to-face, I can go into a school and pay my school fee, but no, they don't necessarily want to do that. let me pay it online. Let me pay my barber online. Let me pay my hairdresser. Let me pay my pharmacist, whoever, because you now have the comfort. You know that it's a secure transaction. Kyle
Right.
spoke about access to cash. You have cash and then you have credit that you have the option to use. And then you know that you have your secure receipt sitting down somewhere stored safely for you.
So I want
And
to jump in with that one, Narda, because you mentioned
Yeah,
something that's important. We have to meet the customers where they are comfortable, right? And
absolutely.
what COVID showed us is that a lot of the small businesses that existed on the transaction of cash had to pivot. And it
Right
wasn't
away.
an easy pivot, it was like a knee jerk reaction for them to survive. And then what we're seeing now is that because COVID brought digital enablement now to persons who are not digitally savvy or digital evangelists, there is now a behavioral change. Yes, we're happy for the face to face, we're happy for going back outside, but we will also want the convenience of being able to stay inside and purchase things. Right? I know, I mean, I go to my barber, I don't carry my wallet. On my way out, I use my phone and I link him the money. I'm using the digital wallet link and I link him the money. My son can go to the barber. I don't have to be there, and I can pay the barber instantly before my son is finished getting a haircut. And these are the type of things that I like. The gardener. Most of these guys like cash. You have to leave work to pay them. When him finish, him send you a picture. You send him the money, and everybody benefits from an ecosystem that's digitally enabled. So one of the biggest pain points for me was just being able to unlock convenience for the persons who usually needed that physical face-to-face transaction to occur. And no, they can be anywhere. And the small businesses are really benefiting from it. The larger businesses were there, right?
Yeah,
Though not at scale, but the smaller businesses now have propped up Instagram stores and all that type of stuff. And they can collect payments through e-commerce or digital wallets easily. And then both customer and merchant benefit.
absolutely.
that's awesome. So convenience, meet the customers where they are, and an improvement in security. Glad you touched on the small business as well. For all the small business owners, you having to do the taxes and file and these types of things. Having an electronic or digital receipt so
Makes it
valuable.
easy.
You're
Yep.
not going to jail because you're paying the taxes appropriately. Right?
Yes.
Kyle, as a CTO of Easy Payments, the discussion went into potential hesitancy of persons to migrate over to fully digital platforms. So, in your role, what do you see as potentially the next step to not necessarily incentivize persons, but like I said, meeting them where they are, technology and the individual coming together?
Yeah, I mean, the natural progression at one stage, it was about trying to bring the customer to use the solution. Now, as John Matthew said, in many cases, the customer is actually pushing the businesses to bring the solutions to them, and they will switch from businesses who don't have the solutions that they want to businesses that do.
Right.
And then once I guess everybody is on the same level playing field in terms of platform capability, it then now becomes who has the better user experience. We talk about payments now becoming more and more frictionless, and you want to reduce the time that it takes for the person to say, I need to send somebody this money, to the point where the person actually gets the money. And who can do that the fastest is who the customer is going to gravitate towards, whether that is a person to person payment or a person to merchant payment.
And if I
Okay.
just jump in here, Cal, fastest way. But I would want to say that the customers are also concerned with security and they're also concerned with cost. And when we look at cost in particular, so a lot of these things, if you look at even person to person transfers, right? Or even a customer to paying a business. But let's look at person to person and in the remittance field. What Link is able, and I'm gonna speak for Link now, but I mean what Link is what Link is able to achieve in terms of speed and safety and cost reduction compared to what our remittance companies, I'm not crying them now, it's just where the technology is today, what they're able to offer the customer is quite something new. It's definitely a game changer. Right now, the cost factor is something that we cannot ignore when it comes to digital wallets and when it comes to e-commerce. Yes, there is a cost for transactions. There has to be, because you need banking partners to be able to process, and especially if you move in money from Visa and MasterCard, you have to pay them, and then you have to pay the government. So there will naturally be a cost no matter which way you look at it. But
Mhm.
the cost can be significantly cheaper when you start looking at solutions like Lynk and Ezee Payments, for whether it's for an individual or whether it's for a small business or even a large business. So I don't want you to forget that point. Cost is also a major benefit.
And
Cost, wonderful.
let me add one more thing to it. So,
You may speak
one
for Ezee Payments, no?
I'm going to speak for Easy Payments. I'm going to start with the customer first, and I'm going to get into the small businesses. So, what we also realized in digital enablement for digital payments is that you have to also provide a channel where the customers are comfortable, because we never had a lot of digital payment enablement for consumers in Jamaica. We use a card. We had the cards, and out of a population of 3 million, we only have, I think I checked the result, the data today, like 370,000 active credit cards in the market space. That's 10%
Right.
of little about 15% of our total you know population. But
Mhm.
what we get to realize is that people are comfortable with a cell phone, right? Everybody has one. You leave your house and you leave your wallet, you might decide to turn back maybe, but if you leave your cell phone, you're making a U-turn immediately. And that's because most of your life now exists here. So why not
Right.
utilize this to make your payments? And that's what we're doing. So for the bank and the unbank, the commonality is the fact that we're all comfortable now using a device. A couple of years ago, when digital and flow came out and cell phones became more accessible, it was a behavioral change, right? But now it's the norm. I don't think people have land phones in them house anymore. I do have one.
They
Um,
have it and don't use it, you know?
don't use it, right? But the fact is that this thing here is so important that every single, we trust this device more than anything else, because we have passwords, pictures, videos, all our family history, everything is stored on this. So if we enable that to make payments, then people will also feel comfortable utilizing it because they do keep the phone very secure. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. Second thing now is the SMEs. I mean, it's difficult for the SMEs to sell online. And that's why, services like Easy Payment make sense, where you kill the friction now between merchant and bank to enable them now to offer a service where their customers want to shop online with them. So that's big, because what we realized even before the pandemic that it was difficult. And during the pandemic, it was even more difficult. But when Easy Payments came out, it enabled the small businesses to quickly ramp up and enable digital payments online for them. And these are the type of things that we need to see in a country that is aspiring to be totally digital. The Prime Minister said in January that by, I don't remember, 2020 something, very soon, Jamaica should be the digital hub for the Caribbean. We should be the new Silicon Valley. And we have the bright minds here. We
Yeah.
have a large population and a large appetite for digital. So why not? But we need the entrepreneurs to get
Absolutely.
in and drive that type of functionality into the space.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. To look over and see if I had a landline. I forgot that I had one. Does anyone get nervous when it rings? That's
Well,
a bad one.
With my land
yeah.
phone around, boy, I'd be, yeah, yeah.
I haven't had one in close to 10 years, so
What?
Okay,
there's none to ring.
ahead of the curve.
There's,
So you touched on the unbanked, underbanked, and trying to basically penetrate that market to get everybody more involved in, let's say, more formal banking or formal financial services, right? What are the
absolutely.
impediments you're
Yes.
seeing towards that, whether it's a regulatory or hesitance, anything like that? Open question for start with Kyle again.
Yeah, I mean, clearly regulatory compliance is a concern for any fintech that's operating now. Thankfully, it seems that the BOJ is moving in the direction of being more open to allowing fintechs to be able to get their feet into the space, with that regulatory sandbox that they have. Although you do, for certain products, you are required to partner with a commercial bank. So that is maybe something that they could still look at kind of changing if and where appropriate. But generally speaking, there is also the willingness of the customers themselves, whether banked or unbanked or underbanked, to trust services that they see coming out in the market as being safe and secure, because safety and security is not just about SSL encryption. And so that's something that people don't even maybe are concerned about. They want to know, are their funds safe? Is this company going to disappear midstream? And so building
Got
trust
money.
in the in the consumer. Not a technical issue at all, but one certainly that fintech need to grapple with and be successful at in order to be successful at their own business.
All right. So touching on the security question as good, John Matthew, what are some of the features that Lynk is implementing to protect the masses?
All right, so I think it's important. That's an important question, and it's also important to mention to just go back on the regulator. So, I used to work at the regulator for 10 years, but the fact is that sometimes the regulators actually put things in place to protect the customer. So the sandbox is an area is something that we do like. It's unusual for the BOJ to create this type of environment for fintechs to kind of try and thrive. It's in no way prescriptive, but it allows us to exist in a space that we do provide information to the regulator, one, and then two, it allows us to test new features within Rails and certain constraints to the public while keeping them protected. And a big part of that is security. The customers, the information has to be secure. We're changing behaviors. We're cash based now. We're trying to get them digital. They have to be able to trust the system. So let's talk about some security things that we have put in place with Lynk. First things first is that the mobile phone, every single year it evolves and it iterates in terms of security that it can provide. First time it was a PIN, then you got your fingerprint. Now you have Face ID if you have an Apple phone or facial scanning, and all of these different combinations and permutations of security reasons why somebody can't pick up your phone and just go to it. But for the wallets, what we're looking at is collecting enough information that we can use to ensure that the system can and only be used by you, Adrian. So we utilize a lot of biometric, not just from the phone, but biometric from our system. So if somebody was to steal your phone or get a username and password that you use to access the wallet and try to log in on another device, it's going to say, hold up, I know this username and password, I know this username and PIN, but I don't know this device. So before I allow you into this device, let me see your face. And I need to ensure that it is the same face that was onboarded a couple weeks ago utilizing device X. So these are some of the things that we use to lock up the system to ensure that your information is secure. Second thing is we are regulated by the BOJ. So there are some technical things that we have to put in place to provide security for the customer. Redundancy, encryption. So nobody can really sniff and get information that is being transmitted between two devices, whether it be P2P or P2M, which is peer-to-merchant. And then, most importantly, all our services are in the cloud. What does this mean? It means that there's no physical place for Kyle to go break into and pull out our hard drive. Right? These things are in the cloud, which means that they're scalable, they're difficult to trace for the unknown. And these type of things allow us to scale as well. So in the event that the system comes under pressure, we can spin up new services and ensure that we'll have continued service provisioning to the customer base. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I can't get into all the security because I can't give away the secrets. But these are some of the things that were put in place to ensure that the customers are protected. So during your onboarding is when we really try to collect as much information as possible and utilize that in the future to protect it from being scammed.
Okay, great. So the security features, all of these things are not just one-off, one time. They're adapting and developing, fighting these chopper and scammers and all these people.
Yeah, man. Because
Sure,
I want to reinforce John Matthew's point, because identification of the parties to the transaction is one of the most important aspects of the security of the transaction. And so being able to be sure that the person who is representing themselves as person A is actually person A is as important to the security, if not more important to the security of the transaction than the messages that make the transaction possible.
Okay, great. So you have this system in place, you have security on both ends. So it's not just security for transactions, but security for all the users involved in transactions. You're able to monitor these people, protecting their privacy, protecting their data as well as their assets through the app. That's what you're all doing for us. So I think we appreciate that. What are the digital payment trends that you're all seeing globally that we could apply locally, or even things coming out of our market without sharing too much IP, of course, to get us to that point of being the global leaders?
All right, I can start. I basically looked at globally and regionally, and I'm seeing pretty much the main trends. Number one, more adoption by merchants and individuals. And as we said before, this has been driven recently by COVID. And as John Matthew said, the proliferation of mobile devices. Second, less monopoly. In the past, payments were kind of dominated by the two giants, the duopoly of Visa and MasterCard. And so fintech companies and the solutions that they offer now mean that there's no need for persons who need services to wait on the big banks or the big companies to offer these solutions. More options. So, Ezee Payments, Lynk, the international options, too numerous to name: PayPal, Stripe, Square, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. You get the point. Facebook wants to do payments. There's WhatsApp payments, crypto, and of course the rise of super apps. All about giving the consumer more options for digital payments. Another trend, more products. So we could see recently where Bank of Jamaica, in conjunction with Lynk, launching CBDC, as a pilot, and bringing CBDC as a product to Jamaica. And that's not unique to Jamaica. CBDCs are being launched all over the world. Buy now, pay later is another fintech product that has been widely adopted. And so there's lots more of those products being developed and being deployed every day. Another trend, more collaboration. So, for instance, look at the collaboration between e-commerce and delivery services. Look at, we have what we call co-petition now among fintechs, where, we have complementary services who collaborate to create efficiencies. And on the technical side, the companies create standardized APIs to make, this collaboration even easier than it used to be in the past. As far as options, we're definitely seeing more options than we had in the past. Where in the past our payments again were card based for the most part, and you had to swipe at a terminal. Of course, e-commerce, online payments, in person we do tap to pay, but we also have scan to pay. The big card companies are now one of them doing pay with face, the biometrics. As John Matthew just mentioned. And even in some instances, we see where creative users are implanting microchips to facilitate novel ways to pay.
I'm not ready for that one yet.
Yeah, me either.
Put it on your roadmap. And then, of course, we're also seeing more integration. So companies like Zelle, which is a collaboration, again, facilitated by API integration between big banks. I think maybe Lynk is going to be, one of the potential companies to do that locally. If maybe that's a secret, that's in John Matthew's back pocket, and I hope I'm not busting it is.
It's quite.
Yeah, but another big example of integration actually coming out of India, with the Indian government and their national payment corp driving payments via their UPI product. So that's an interesting one to watch. India leading payments out of Asia. And then, regionally, what we are seeing is more investment. And that's global as well, not just regional. Fintech investment smashed all records in 2021, doubling the 2020 amount to hit actually US 100 billion. And, we only see that trend is set to continue with the proliferation of fintech. Those are my 8 points that I saw.
And on the very last point that Cal made, I mean, you have companies like EzeePayments and Lynk who are like bridging that digital divide. I'm borrowing that phrase from I think Trinidad Chamber of Commerce, but we're bridging the digital divide. Our products are inclusive; they're built to be inclusive. So when John Matthew mentioned the underbanked and the unbanked, that is a huge population that fintech like us are closing the gap on right now.
Perfect point. So some of the other trends that we're seeing now is the building up of what they call super apps. So what you really want to do is keep people locked into the ecosystem through convenience. Imagine you get up one day, Adrian, and they're all everybody listening, and you take up your phone, you pay the bills, you buy some credit for your friend or for your mom, whoever it is. You can watch a video, you can initiate a chat, And that's what WeChat started in China, right? WeChat is now, I think if you go to China, maybe like 0.1% of the people use cash. Everybody uses either WeChat or another platform. But what WeChat did is said, look, let us start with creating this social environment that's digitally enabled and then facilitate payments. So they lock you in. So most of what you wanted, 90% of what you wanted is now within the super app. What we're also seeing is people are getting big now on cross-border. So there are no barriers now as it relates to goods and services. You can sit down here and buy anything you want in China, in Australia, and you can get it too. If it's a digital good, then you get it immediately. If it's a physical good, then yeah, you have to ship it. But what we're seeing now is utilization of a lot of cryptocurrencies, right? So we're talking about the bitcoins and this and that. I mean, if we follow the trends, there are like 20,000 different cryptocurrencies out there now available, whether it be altcoins or actual cryptos. But the fact is that these things are bridging the gap for cross-border payments. So we're seeing a huge thing now around that. And then of course, how can we not talk about the metaverse? Metaverse is fairly new. Don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah.
But it's a space that I'm interested in, just because of what it can bring to retail and experiences. So what we expect to see now is payments, a lot of payments happening in the metaverse. MasterCard and Visa are already there. We have to get there as well. Lynk will be there for the Jamaican version of the metaverse if we create one, where we can see all of the reggae and the dancehall and all the things that we hold dear to ourselves. It might exist in the metaverse. And to interface with certain things is a paid service, and you're going to use Lynk in the metaverse. That's the whole plan. But the metaverse is something that we definitely can't, we're going to start to see fold into maybe my children will be the real metaverse techies. I might not be a part of it, but I know that it's going to be here just because of what it enables and the experiences that it brings. So those are some of the things that we're seeing, come up, along with all the stuff that Kyle mentioned and stole our thunder, so we couldn't mention anything because he mentioned them all, but I'll just add those two.
I'm glad you mentioned the metaverse. We actually did a experiment, JTDA, where we went in for a couple of hours to try and do a regular work day. And we're surprised how immersive it actually was. So we went to a Billie Eilish concert, went to a NASA showing. You could walk around pretty much. You're looking at yourself in the mirror, a digital version of yourself. It was a very fluid experience, other than some of the nausea with the headsets and stuff like that. But augmented reality, I feel like, can definitely support that. My question now is, do you see Ezee Payments and Lynks innovating and driving others to innovate, to basically Jamaica 23rd century? Are you the ones who, I feel like you can take the credit if you need to take the credit. Are you making the traditional legacy financial entities, pushing them? Maybe they're a bit resistant to it, but pushing them into the future, being more innovative, because all you're really taking a lot of the risk that they're not willing to take, right?
Right.
So you're supporting that as well as giving them access to more clients. So are you the ones really pushing them to innovate? And then have you seen any challenges in the boardroom, or maybe less informal, in terms of them actually following you where you're trying to go?
All right, let me jump in first. And let me answer it from the Lynk perspective, right? So, the purpose of fintechs are to challenge the big boys, right? Our job is to disrupt. We're agile, we're more nimble. We don't have all that legacy luggage and baggage carrying with us when we want to make certain decisions. So because of that, we're able to enable things at scale and through acceleration. So are they going to follow? That's what usually happens, right? We're not the first wallet in Jamaica. There were wallets before us. Maybe they were before the time. I don't know. But COVID has definitely increased the appetite for digital. Maybe if there was no COVID, maybe Lynk wouldn't have had the traction that we have had so far. But there's obviously appetite for digital, and COVID did bring some negative, but it also brought some opportunities, and we're grateful for that. There are going to be other wallets in the space because there is an opportunity. It is a greenfield market right now. Narda mentioned it. We do have a lot of unbanked and underbanked in Jamaica. More unbanked, underbanked than not. These are the people who they only open a bank account to get paid. Once they get paid, they go straight to the ABM. They take out the cash and they transact in that cash. So yes, they have a bank account, but they're not utilizing financial services as the financial service providers would have wanted. So the wallets now provide that type of opportunity. It's usually more comforting to them than going into an establishment, brick and mortar. And because of that, the services that they want to get from this fit into their lifestyle. Lynk is not just a payment wallet, but it's a lifestyle brand, right? And it's a behavioral change agent because we are changing behaviors. And a lot of that is built into how we operate. So as it relates to the boardroom, our job is to disrupt, right? If we're not disrupting, then that's where the boardroom going to have a problem. If we don't come to them and say, look what we're doing, look over here, then again be like, you guys just falling right in line, and they wouldn't like that. So as a fintech,
Right.
our
What's the
mandate is,
point? Mhm.
yeah, there's no point. We're supposed to innovate, we're supposed to challenge. And even with the regulators putting us in the sandbox, our job as the fintech is to sit on the fence of regulation and innovation, and we're supposed to challenge and disrupt the space that way. And that's the exciting part about the job. And then, of course, we also have to look at the voice of the customer. Customers want options, right? A lot of these customers have been underserved for a
Yeah.
very long time, and they're falling into this trap of let me only hold on to my cash. And they have missed out on a lot of opportunities, and that's what
Yeah.
we want to bring to the space. But we're not going to prescribe it. We meet with them, we look at the value stream that they require, we look at their needs, and then we enable that digitally, and then we bring them into the system as best as possible. So there are going to be other wallets in the space. The ones with the best experience will win. The ones that enables the most activity and the most reach will also win. But again, sometimes competition isn't bad enough, right? Competition also drives innovation. So we can't wait to see what else is coming out there and see, it will allow us to get more aggressive as well in terms of how we approach certain things. So that's the link. That's my link pitch. Over to you, Narda and Kyle.
Nice, John Matthew. And I have to say, a lot of that, where we're talking about the boardroom, we really are here to disrupt. I can't tell you how many clients have called us, and Kyle has a lot of personal relationships with a lot of our merchants because relation matters and to meet where they need to. And at the time, we have to show them the light and say, this is actually possible. You can give your customers like an Amazon like checkout, and they're like, I can have that for my people. So we have to kind of show them and of course meet them there as well. There was we knew one competitor. We knew one competitor. And very quickly, we thought what would have been what our value proposition, giving the merchants the ability to be e-commerce capable within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, versus 12 months, 14 months, 16 months. It's chalk and cheese. And very, very quickly, the banks responded. They're still not as fast as, but it certainly doesn't take as long anymore. They now have options on the table that's not taking as long. So they're going to respond, and that is great because it means that we and other people in the space, and I'm talking real, they're going to push the big banks to make some changes to serve our people. Now, where the competition is concerned, fantastic. We expect competitors. We're in a Twitter conversation, somebody brought in a competitor in the conversation, and Cal and I were like, okay, research on this one. Who are these guys? Where they come from? What's their value proposition? What are they offering? Who is their target segment? And we expect more competitors to come out. I remember listening to someone from BO saying that they're encouraging the other banks to come out with, so we know that competitors will come out in the space, and that's good because people need to have a choice. Like John said, it's not something I'm going to prescribe for them. We're not going to force it on them. They need a choice. It earlier, at the end of the day, it's going to be who is exactly what I want or close to. Good price point, very good meeting my pain points in a nice compact way. And then, of course, service standards. How are we serving our people? How are we listening to them? John said it, I think, earlier. Are we listening to them, and are we constantly evolving? We have to constantly evolve. Like, I feel under pressure when Kyle calls me and he goes, check this out. So check your WhatsApp. I just sent you something. I go, Jesus, what now? Because the technology is moving so quickly. It's so moving so quick. And you're smiling. I can imagine you and Vernon have these conversations all the time. We have to keep up. We have to keep up now and keep ahead of the competition, and while maintaining safety and security and a good price point, and while maintaining customer relations. So what we are doing there, don't feel no way. This is is not lead teams that we both are. But proud to say, we're certainly making an impact in the market and plan to make what we said we're going to disrupt.
That's amazing. So bring on a competition.
Of
We're all
course.
supporting these people who really need that assistance. Okay, so for viewers who may not be fully bought in to digital payment solutions, easy payments, links, let's say we had a individual who gets paid fortnightly. Maybe they work in construction, or maybe they work at a patty shop, and they're like, well, I see this app, I see these specific things I can use, but the boss gives me my paycheck, and then I just run down to the bank and then try and cash it, and it takes me a couple of days. What's that elevator pitch to that worker to say, you should jump on links, you should make your boss come easy payments. Yeah, we need to integrate, we need to do these things. What's elevator pitch for that worker right there? John Matthew.
All right, all right, no problem. So for me, it's, sir, working at the party shop, imagine getting paid instantly in a wallet that's in an app that's stored on your phone. And from there, you can do the 5 things that you do when you get your cash instantly. You can buy credit, you can send money to your baby mother, you can pay your bills, you can possibly bet, and you can use it at your favorite merchant, all without visiting the bank or getting cash, right? Imagine doing that instantly once you get paid from your merchant.
I would say, how do you know of a baby mother? But other than that, I'd say, wow, that sounds amazing.
All right, Adrian.
Okay, and then easy payments to him, to his the workman, the boss. What would you say to him?
Boy, to the work, we can give them the power of invoicing, right? Before, you tell a man that you're going to do a job and it's going to be $100,000 and here $90,000, and it might pay you $90,000 in cash, and you have to wait a couple of weeks for it. No, we can actually give that workman the power of invoicing right on their device as well. So no, they can create their own payment button, send it in a digital message, whether it is WhatsApp, IG, or email, however they communicate right now. Send it to them. Their boss will then get that, open up their payment button, see who they need to pay, make the payment. We process it for them, and in 2 days, less than 2 days, Carl. Yes, we settle to money's in the bank.
Great. So easier process.
So
more
power of
taxes
accuracy.
more taxes in the formal sector. Get those potholes filled. Trickle down effect.
Yes.
All of that stuff. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Imagine the carpenter, the painter, and the plumber now really having the power to say, this is my bill. You understand? Our command center, as we call it, is so easy to. You put in the person's name that you want, tell them how much you're charging them, and say, here, pay me. Like this is like leveling up their own service. Leveling up. What that does to a man was digital. It levels him up. So it empowers him to and be confident and say, yeah, man, this is my service. Don't worry. I will send you my invoice. No, where are you going with that cash? No, don't give me half no and then late. No, I'll send you my invoice. You pay me what's due. So we're leveling them up and empowering them.
But Narda, I'm positive that a lot of the service workers, right? When they visit certain clients, the clients do have the cash, and there's always that friction now for the client to either leave and get the cash, or they give you what they have now and they have to come back another day. So, the things like Easy Payment, even Lynk, it allows them never to miss the sale because it's creating opportunities that they didn't have before. And that's what I love about it. I mean, the other day I had to get a locksmith, and when I checked, I had to look for the one with a M-Paz because I never have no cash. I don't have my wallet inside. I don't know. I didn't know where it was. So these type of things really excite me because it allows us, the customers, to have the choices that we want when we're interfacing with the merchants, and it allows the merchants, again, as I said, never to miss that sale.
Amazing. I'm ready to sign up. I'm ready.
You should.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we still have some time, but I don't want to end without asking this. Where do people go to sign up to links, Ezee Payments? Where do they get that information?
All right. I'll go first again. So with Lynk, you go to www.lynk, that's LYNK .us or US. It's really us. Um, and then you click on, it's available on both Android and Apple iOS. You can navigate to the QR code, scan it, or you can just go to your relevant app store and download it. It's an easy process. Usually takes about 5 minutes. It requires you to enter your phone number. You get a secret code sent to your phone. You enter your email address. You have to verify your email, and then you provide us with your ID. And we take our everybody loves take selfies, so we take a video selfie to verify that you are you. We're totally digital, so we don't expect you to visit a physical place to onboard. So you can do it all from the convenience of your home. And then we do some checks and balances, and within 5 minutes you get access to the wallet, and you can add cash to it, P2P, buy credit, pay a bill, and we're unlocking a whole host of services starting this week, this month, into the end of the year. So Carl mentioned CBDC. The government has issued CBDC with Lynk for us. We're the first wallet to offer it as a currency, Jamaica's first digital currency. And come next week, you'll be able to spend your CBDC. So the first 100,000 customers that signed up into Lynk, they got 2,500 from the government. Nigel Clark said it on March 8th and had the whole digital world into a tizzy. But we're able to provide that service. So come next week now, you can check your balance and use it. Buy some credit, pay a bill, from some of the government subsistence. So, exciting times. But watch this space. Remember, www.link.us. Download the app. Give us your feedback.
Awesome. Narda?
Nice, yeah, man. And so for Ezee Payments, we're completely digital as well. Right now we are www.ezeepayments with an S.com, ezeepayments.com. And while we are not as simple in terms of our onboarding, we're getting there. So hopefully by next week we should be launching our new website, where our merchants will be able to e-board. They will be able to upload all the documents that we need. Like John Matthew said, checks and balances. We need to make sure we're collecting some relevant information, KYC, whatnot. And of course, our customers will be able to choose their package, pay for it right away. And what we need to do in the back, onboard them within 24 to 48 hours. As a matter of fact, I would want to even challenge that we will be able to cut down our onboarding time with our e-boarding solution, our capability that we're about to launch. So going completely digital. And that's one thing I'm sure John Matthew wants to talk about it as well. As a digital company, we can't be like, we are virtual. Everybody here is in their home office. Some of us in our bedrooms, right? And that's part of it as well. We get to stay light and flexible, and we're pushing daily to become like just like build up that digital stack to meet the customers again where they are.
That's awesome.
EzeePayments.com, www.ezeepayments.com.
Okay. All right, great. A lot of big things. Ollie just dropping these fantastic news like is done. This is great. Okay, so let's see if we can try to take some questions from the audience. You kind of told me what the next steps were, right? The short-term next steps. Can you tell me what the medium to long-term next steps are? So you mentioned metaverse, augmented reality, planning to partner with specific industries, expansion, IPO locally, IPO internationally, New York Stock Exchange. Anything you can share?
Can't share anything, but what I can tell you though is, watch the space for partnership. So Kyle mentioned competition, which is where, whether it be competition or not, service providers come together to grow the pie and grow the access pool. So I think you should look out for that. Jamaica is small but very big. And therefore, for us to grow the wallet and grow the digital space, it has to come with collaboration. I mean, I didn't know that I was going to be on with Narda and Carl, but we are collaborating on things, right? So the good thing is that there are partnerships in the space, and you're going to see a lot of digital companies coming together Though they might be competing or looking at accessing the same set of eyeballs or resources, sometimes we do have to we have to partner. So you're going to see partnerships. We do have aspirations to grow the business to the point where it's attractive. Don't know what that means, but we're going to grow it to the point where it becomes attractive. And we never know when we're going to get listed or if we get listed. But we have a lot of ambitions. I have a very unapologetic CEO in Vernon James, and he has big dreams. And we have bought into the vision, and it's something that we want to bring it into our reality. So I would just tell you to watch the space.
Okay.
We're definitely looking forward to some collaborations. Again, the first word that comes to my mind when I even think of things like that happening is like disruption. Beautiful disruption that will happen. But where Ezee Payments is concerned, we are definitely we have planned it thrown. Right now we're just a year old. We're 1 year old, very, very lean team. We're getting it right here. We're making sure that we're serving our people and serving them in the right way before we run out into the region. But we definitely have regional expansion on our roadmap. IPO again, who knows, right? Maybe we won't need it. Hopefully we won't. But for product expansion, I mean, we have planned. It's almost audacious of us. It's like, who are giving these people right here these ideas and they think they can go after them. That's the kind of conversation. Let me tell you, Ezee Payments was a pivot, a pivot that happened with, we thought was a fantastic product. 6 months later, we're like, wait, this is not, it's Ezee Payments is a pivot from an original product. So that's to show you where we are going. We listened to the market, realized that product was a good product, just not at the right time, and pivoted it to meet where the market was needed, what the market needed at the time. So if you look at that story, you can kind of pick where we want to go. All the technology that is out there, some of the trends that Kyle mentioned, if you're listening keenly, you kind of have an idea where we want to go. But definitely in the space, I said it before, we have to be like on our P's and Q's, constantly evolving, or we're just going to fall into the same everybody is in right now.
Okay, amazing. So meeting a customer where they are, being adaptable could lead to $1 trillion business. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to be agile. And the importance of security, competition, co-petition. First time I heard that term. I'm going to start using that every day now. So there's a lot of value. Thank you very much.
Sweet term.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I learned a whole lot. I hope everyone else learned as much as I did. So thank you, Lynks. Thank you, Ezee Payments. Any final words that you want to share with the audience before we sign off?
I'd like to share. So we're doing a big campaign now across Jamaica. And it's a community driven approach. We're going to be doing some promotions in Carnival this weekend. We did a lot of stuff in Kingston Kitchen last weekend. So I just wanted to watch the space in terms of Lynk. Follow us on Instagram. A lot of prizes and surprises dropping every single week based on how you utilize the app, how many persons you interface with, etc. And just follow us so that you can ensure that you don't miss out on the opportunities that the digital space will bring and enable to you.
Okay, great. Kyle, Narda?
I'll defer to Narda.
Yeah, man. Just if you don't ever want to miss a sale again, no problem, Kyle. If you're a small business, micro, small, medium, large, whatever size it is, and you don't want to miss a sale, then you need to make it Ezee Payments. EzeePayments.com.
Awesome. Kyle, you had some last words?
Thanks to JTDA for having us on and for allowing us to talk about the digital payments space that we're all excited to play in at this time, and hope that the listeners found value in the conversation that we had today.
Okay. Thanks much, Kyle. Thanks, Narda. Thanks, John Matthew. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a great evening, everybody.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You too.
Thank you.